Happy summer from here at Nanook Lodge. We are getting beautiful stone fruit now. Peaches, nectarines, plums and apricots, as well as the tomatoes are coming in at the farmer's market in all sorts of colors. And so I'm gonna show you today how to make a peach and tomato burrata salad. It's kind of a twist on mozzarella caprese. The peaches add just a wonderful sweetness to it. The tomatoes are naturally sweet, but they have some acid in them. And then the balance all comes together with this creamy, yummy burrata from my friends at Belgioso. I'll show you how to make a dressing that amps up the flavor, and we're gonna add some fresh basil at the very end to make it beautiful, as well as bring in just a little bit of that herbal note. So for this salad, the stars are really the peaches and the tomatoes, but the other star is the burrata. And so how is burrata different than fresh mozzarella? It is just fresh mozzarella. It's a fresh mozzarella cheese ball, but in the center are shreds of fresh mozzarella cheese that have been mixed with cream. So when you cut this open, it sort of oozes this beautiful, luscious creaminess rather than being solid like a fresh mozzarella ball. I'm going to use olive oil. This is where you pull out the good stuff. Extra virgin olive oil from my friend Vieri over in Tuscany. A little bit of basil to garnish. We've got salt and pepper and a little bit of shallot in the dressing with some red wine vinegar. And then you're probably wondering why this molasses is here. I like to sweeten the dressing for this just ever so slightly, so it balances out the tartness of the tomatoes and gives a little bit more punch to the sweetness of the peaches. Now you can use honey, you could use just a little, like a teaspoon of sugar, but I love how the molasses brings in just this earthy, round, darker flavor to this whole thing. So that's why I've chosen molasses for this recipe. So let's first put the dressing together so it can sit for a minute. Then we'll cut up all the produce and we'll toss everything together, garnish it with the burrata, and we'll have a great salad for lunch. Our dressing ingredients are here in front of me. We've got the oil and the vinegar, salt and pepper, a little bit of molasses, and then I diced the shallot pretty finely. It's about a tablespoon of shallot, about half a shallot, maybe not quite. We're going to mix this all together and let it sit for a little bit while we cut everything else up so that the dressing has time to really get some flavor throughout everything before we toss it with the rest of the ingredients. So now that the dressing is made and sitting off to the side, we're going to prep our remaining ingredients. I'm going to leave some of the basil leaves whole so I can garnish like with one big leaf. These are pretty big, but they'll be beautiful. And then I'm going to chiffonade, which means a really fine julienne, the basil, and I'll show you how to do that. We'll cut the peaches. We want to save that for the last because peaches can tend to start to brown. And I've got 3 different tomatoes here. One's huge. I've got green, red, and yellow because I love the color of all of that. We won't probably use all that tomato. I'll save some for making a sandwich tomorrow with it. But we'll have enough tomato that'll sort of be half peach, half tomato for this salad is the goal. So let's prep all that, and then we'll toss it with the dressing, garnish it with the burrata and the basil, and we'll be eating lunch. So I'm going to show you how to make a chiffonade of basil. I look for the biggest, these are huge leaves, but I look for the biggest leaves and I kind of put them down so that I can make a blanket. And then you just put the rest of the leaves you've picked off into that. You roll it up tight like you're gonna roll up, like I've seen them roll tobacco leaves. And then you just cut very thin strips through that roll. And now you've got a lovely, what we chefs call chiffonade of basil for garnish. It's time to assemble the salads. And you want to do this right before you serve the salad. So you can prep everything up ahead of time, cut the tomatoes ahead of time. I'd cut the peaches at the last minute. But everything's good and ready to go. So what we're going to do is take the dressing. It's been it's probably separated just a little bit because it's been sitting, but that's all right. Give it a good stir. Mix it all back together, and then we'll pour it over the tomatoes and the peaches. I'm going to just gently give that a good toss. Make sure everything's really well coated. I've got a plate here. Some beautiful peaches and tomatoes on there. I try to sort and make sure that each plate's got some beautiful color for each one. Plate the rest of it. I'm going to come back, wash my hands, and I'll be right back. So now for serving, I'm just going to tuck a little bit of the one leaf under there to make it look pretty. Take this beautiful ball of burrata, put it right over the top. Sprinkle that with just a little bit of salt, and then some of my lovely chiffonade of basil all over the top of that. We've got a beautiful peach and tomato and burrata salad.